Now, the CEO of one of Canada's biggest cryptocurrency exchanges died while he was on a trip to India.
Death of the CEO in India.
Millions of dollars invested in his Bitcoin exchange.
$1 million worth of cryptocurrencies locked up
by an inability to access some encrypted devices.
Vanished with him.
And no one can get to them.
Canada's largest cryptocurrency exchange is in hot water.
So I created Quadriga CX in 2013.
It's being effectively gambled on other exchanges.
Cotten was operating Quadriga like a Ponzi scheme.
No one knew that the CEO was going to die mysteriously in India.
I say I own something.
Doesn't give me any information about what's inside.
So sorry that this happened to you.
Say he is gone.
I think Gerald is still alive.
It seemed like I should have known. I've already said it a million times. I don't. No.
Gerald, starting with you.
Yes.
What's your story? You were born, now you're here. What happened in between? What happened to the former largest Bitcoin exchange?
This is the story of Quadriga CX, a story that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's a story of greed, deception, and the ultimate question of where millions of dollars in assets have gone. It's a story of changing identities, a marriage, a last-minute will, and the strange death of a person solely responsible for $190 million in assets. And how did one of Canada's most reliable cryptocurrency exchanges turn out to be the biggest scam of 2019, leaving its customers without access to their funds? This video will take you through the background of Quadriga CX, the events leading up to the scandal, the investigation, and the aftermath. Let's start by looking at the background of Quadriga CX. In the year 2013, Gerald Cotten, a native Canadian, founded Quadriga CX with his co-founder Michael Patron. Cotten had a background in computer science and had previously founded several small tech startups. Michael Patron, on the other hand, was known for his involvement in the online gaming community and had experience working in the payment processing industry. Well, at the onset of Quadriga CX, it began as a cryptocurrency exchange, allowing users to buy, sell, and trade various digital assets. In 2014, Quadriga CX started doing a $7.4 million volume in daily trading. Over time, Quadriga CX became one of the most popular and widely used cryptocurrency exchanges in Canada. However, by the end of 2017, they were doing a $1.2 billion volume in daily trading. Eventually, it was considered a trusted platform by many in the community. But in 2018, things began to change when Bitcoin started to plummet. Investors started panicking and tried to pull out the money from the exchange. Withdrawal times were lengthy, and those with large balances had to wait several weeks to withdraw. In the meantime, Quadriga CX CEO Gerald Cotten and his girlfriend Jennifer Robertson went to Jaipur, India for their honeymoon, with their dream intention of sponsoring an orphanage. Just 9 days into their honeymoon, Gerald fell ill. On December 8, 2018, he was admitted to a private hospital in Jaipur where he was diagnosed with acute gastroenteritis. The next afternoon, his condition worsened, and before doctors could stabilize him, his heart stopped functioning and Gerald was declared dead. Jennifer returned to Canada with Gerald's body. Jennifer informed Quadriga's investors about Gerald's demise through Gerald's Facebook account. On December 9, 2018, the company announced that its founder, Gerald Cotten, had died suddenly while on a trip to Jaipur, India. According to his death certificate, Cotten died due to complications related to Crohn's disease, a chronic inflammatory bowel disease. Lately, the company claimed that with the death of Gerald Cotten, the access codes to the cold wallets holding the customer funds had died too. Crypto community members were shocked to hear about the missing funds, estimated at 145 million Canadian dollars in value. The company suddenly became unable to access its funds, leaving its customers without access to their own money. Quadriga was using a variety of third-party payment processors for managing international wire transfers and fiat currency deposits. One of them was Crypto Capital, a shadow bank. The other was Custodian Incorporated, which had bank accounts with CIBC totaling $28 million. since there were no records of the company's private keys, thus leaving customers with no access to their funds, leading to complaints and lawsuits. A few reports have also indicated that Cotten's girlfriend had access to his laptop, which was reportedly the only other person with access to it. In an interview with Cotten's widow, she stated that the laptop he was using was similarly encrypted. And she looked for the Quadriga account passwords her husband had written down, but Jennifer Robertson claimed she was unsuccessful.
I tried to do everything that I could to help the users. I gave access to all of Jerry's laptops, our personal conversations, everything that I could do. I actually gave permission even still to provide Google to give the trustee all of Jerry's email and Google accounts, just hoping that it would find something and could bring some money back to the affected users.
However, the exact extent of her involvement and knowledge of the situation is unclear. But in the wake of the scandal, authorities launched an investigation into Quadriga CX to try and determine what had happened to the missing funds. The investigation was conducted by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, along with Ontario-Securities-Commission, and the investigation has revealed various surprising events. As investigations revealed that Quadriga CX was operating as a Ponzi scheme, which included fraud, misuse of funds, and misrepresentation of financial statements.
Cotten was operating Quadriga like a Ponzi scheme. So whenever people put in their money into the exchange, he sort of used it as his personal slush fund.
Later in the investigation, it was found that the total amount of missing funds was to be around $190 million, not 145 million Canadian dollars, as stated by authorities of Quadriga CX. Ontario-Securities-Commission, OSC, said Cotten's fraudulent trading was responsible for around $115 million of the $169 million in clients lost. As a result of CIBC freezing Custodian Incorporated's accounts at the time, Quadriga suffered a further loss of $28 million. According to the investigation, Gerald Cotten had transferred significant amounts of customer funds to his accounts and used those funds to fund his lavish lifestyle.
Gerald had been using money to buy planes, to purchase homes, to take care of his 2 dogs, which, ironically, he left them $100,000 in his will.
However, the circumstances of Cotten's death were suspicious. The week before he passed away, he changed his will to leave $9.5 million to her wife Jennifer Robertson and $100,000 to his 2 dogs. Later, the legal proceedings that followed were lengthy and complex. In the end, the company went bankrupt, and a court-appointed monitor was assigned to try and recover the funds. However, despite these efforts, it's unlikely that most of the funds will ever be recovered. Only $46 million worth of assets were retrieved by Ernst & Young, Quadriga's bankruptcy trustee, to distribute to clients. Many customers felt that they were left in the dark and not receiving any updates on the status of their funds. They wanted answers. They wanted revenge.
So no one knew that the CEO was going to die mysteriously in India.
I lost 4 figures. It wasn't a lot, but amongst my friends and family who I recommended Quadriga to, if you were to add up all of their losses, it would be well into the 7 figures.
People were literally showing up at Jerry's house with duffel bags full of money. She was surrounded by cash at all times. And I think the question would have been, did you ever have any questions about how this business operated?
She was seeing the inner workings of the company. She was right there with them physically, day after day. So she saw the money coming and going.
And it's like this, it's hard when you add everything up in the end and kind of think, but 2, I also trusted him.
To date, the exact extent of Cotten's wealth and the whereabouts of his assets remain unclear. Some believe that Gerald may still be alive, sipping a Mai Tai on a beach, while others think he faked his own death to avoid legal trouble.
Well, some people think Gerald is still alive, somewhere. He's on a beach, sipping a Mai Tai. He's benefiting from all of the millions that were stolen from investors. And exhuming the body would be a really huge step.
I have no evidence that he's still alive. And as far as the people who have seen his body and have seen the death certificate say, he is gone.
There was evidence that it would return money or it would help. I saw Jerry die. I was holding his hand when he passed away. I just really hated the questions. Like, it seemed like I should have known. I've already said it a million times. I don't know. Like, so that's anything else. It's just, you know, it has been the most unbelievable pain that I could ever imagine. These 3 years have been so hard.
There is some incident that seems to confirm this claim. In a Vanity Fair article, his yacht dealer mentioned that he had sold his $600,000 yacht to Gerald. As the yacht dealer stated, Gerald spotted a 4-acre bay island in Mahone Bay, which he later bought, cleared, and built a house. An additional incident that strengthened this claim was Gerald's death. The death certificate for Gerald was spelled a Cotten rather than a Cotten, and the chairman and managing director of the hospital was charged with financial fraud 2 months before Gerald died. And this suspect became even stronger when the news came out that Gerald had written his will just 4 days before the honeymoon. The will had no mention of any external hard drives or cold wallets that consist of Quadriga's funds. However, there is no conclusive evidence to support these claims. Among all these, there was one person who was missing, Michael Patron. As mentioned, Patron is a co-founder of Quadriga along with Cotten back in 2013. The way Gerald Cotten faked his own death to escape legal troubles, like how Michael Patron faked his identity. In February 2019, the Canadian news media, The Globe and Mail confirmed that Omar Danani, who pled guilty and was arrested in 2005 for being involved in an online identity theft ring, is none other than Michael Patron. As we come to the end of the video, we would like to ask you, the viewer, what are your thoughts on Quadriga CX? Do you think that Gerald Cotten is still alive? And what will happen with the customer's fund? Will they get their reimbursement? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Coinpedia channel. Thank you for watching.